successfully collected 188 anger points from Little Saw Saw. Receiving the news, he couldn't help but be surprised. What? Even a sword can get angry? Now, let this young master test your power and see how it is. First, sword riding. At the same time, Jiang Bai stepped forward and called, Jiang Bai. He asked, "Are you okay, brother?" Beside him was Zhou, the second elder of the Wuji sect. Jiang Bai quickly replied shyly, "I'm fine. Why would anything be wrong? I even got this precious sword." However, he then froze and exclaimed, "Ah, big brother. Elder, you guys move out of the way. This sword is too hard to control." Zhou raised his hand to block the wind and asked, "Jiang Bai, what are you doing? Stop immediately." Jiang Bai replied helplessly with deep grievance, "Second elder, I don't want this either. I can't even control myself." Then he fell off the sword just like that, accompanied by a curse. Mother Ker, standing on the ground, rubbing his head, he said quite annoyedly, "Little Saw Saw, you are not obedient at all. You didn't even listen to my command. Changing your name to Little Thief would be more accurate." Immediately, when he looked over, Jiang Bai was scared and choking on his own saliva. With a tattered body, Qing Tzu screamed in anger, "Jiang Bai!" In the midst of the accident, he successfully collected 688 anger points from Zhou. The clothes on the second elder were now torn to shreds. His appearance was extremely miserable. He scolded angrily, "You'd better give me a reasonable explanation." He hurriedly explained, I just wanted to test the weapon. I didn't know you too." Suddenly, a disciple called out loudly from behind, "Elder! Elder! Outside the mountain gate there is..." Hearing someone calling, the second elder turned around to look. Unexpectedly, after seeing his appearance right now, that disciple couldn't help but burst out laughing. Then he said, "Someone has come." The second elder, embarrassed like that, was extremely angry, his face becoming extremely gloomy as he growled, "If there's something, say it quickly. Don't just stand there." So the person tried hard to hold back his laughter and reported, "Yes, elder. Outside, there is a person named Tang Shusen who says he wants to meet the young sect master." Hearing this, his eyes went wide. He asked back in surprise, "Tang Shusen? Isn't that the cowardly general?" Saying that, he walked over and put his arm around that brother's shoulder, acting friendly, and said, Let's go. Let me go with you to meet that Tang Shusen. I'm acquainted with him." Second elder Zhou behind him still hadn't swallowed his anger. He pointed at him and scolded, "Jiang Bai, you little brat, don't try to dodge this. We will settle this matter next time." After being led to Tang Shusen, as soon as he saw him, he spoke up, "General Tang, welcome." Then he crossed his arms with a look of disdain and asked, "Speak. What business do you have finding this Master Bai?" Tang Shusen's face looked terrible being spoken to like that. He tried to endure and replied, "This time I'm following the martial king's orders. First, to invite the two young sect masters to a banquet. In his heart, he couldn't help but curse silently. This guy's mouth is truly poisonous. If it weren't for the martial king's orders, I wouldn't even bother meeting him." Before that, the martial king, after receiving the news that the ghost king had been destroyed, happily ordered, "Oh, so the nether ghost has been destroyed? Hurry to the Wuji sect and invite them here on my behalf." He bowed and continued, "Second, to thank you too for your kindness in destroying the evil spirits." Jiang Bai beside him modestly replied, "No need for thanks. Destroying evil spirits is originally the duty of our Wuji sect." He sat arrogantly on the chair, eating fruit, and continued, "That's right. We aren't like someone else. Incompetent and unable to do anything, and even colluding with mountain bandits." Tang Shusen heard this and angrily cursed, "You." Following that, his system also popped up a notification. Successfully collected 218 fury points from Tang Shusen. Jiang Bai, with a cold face, continued, "As for this generous gift, please take it back, General Tang." Suddenly, Ho Yanlan's voice came from outside. "Wait." She disguised herself as a man, entered, cupped her hands, and mischievously winked at him, saying, "Senior brother Jiang Bai, how about we take a trip to the martial king's manor?" He recognized her at a glance. Feeling a bit confused, he wondered, is that Yanlan? Why did she disguise herself as a man? So he spoke up and asked, "Why?" She immediately answered, "I heard that Miss Yanlan of the martial king's manor is about to marry Prince Jiao Mao." Senior brother just wants to see such a big event. Thinking about it, he lowered his head and rubbed his chin, pondering for a while. I remember she left the Martial King's manor because of this matter. But why does she deliberately want me to take her there now? Thinking so, he readily agreed and replied, Then junior brother, I also want to go there. Then our Wuji sect will definitely attend this banquet. In his heart, he thought, she definitely has important business returning to the manor. So it's better if I just agree first. 3 days later, Martial King's manor. Ho Feng happily held a glass of wine and spoke loudly. Prince Jiao, your presence here truly honors this king's manor. Cool, I toast you a glass. Jiao Mao didn't care about him. His disdain was clearly visible. He just stared at the huge gold ring on his hand and said, I came here this time because I wanted to see my fiancée, Miss Yanlan. Then he rested his chin on his hand and continued. We haven't seen each other for a long time. I wonder where my dear fiancée is. Ho Feng looked embarrassed, glanced at the servant beside him, and stammered. You go quickly. Invite Yanlan here. The servant, being singled out, turned pale. He pointed at his own face and stammered, trying to confirm again. This servant goes? At this moment, in his heart, he couldn't help but tremble with fear, thinking, the young miss has long been gone from home. Where am I supposed to find her? Seeing him so slow, he frowned in dissatisfaction and whispered, You guys just go out and pretend to walk around the house. Then when you come back, say the princess is sick, or sleeping or something, so she can't come. Then he kicked him, urging, Go quickly. Suddenly, a voice came. The young sect master of the Wuji sect has arrived. Jiang Nan and Ho Yanlan entered. Seeing the servant kicked to the ground, he couldn't help but speak up sarcastically. The Martial King's kick is truly powerful. A person was actually kicked flying like that by you. The servant saw Jiang Bai, but still lay still on the ground, unable to stand up. Ho Feng saw the arrivals and immediately changed his expression, greeting them warmly. The two young sect masters have finally arrived. Kulme, please sit. But in his heart, he couldn't help but curse. This young sect master is handsome, but has such a poisonous mouth. At this moment, the system also popped up a notification. Successfully collected 28 anger points from Ho Feng. As soon as Jiao Mao saw them enter, his eyes lit up. He stared at Jiang Nan and exclaimed, Oh my God, that high-nose bridge. Those deep emotional eyes. Jiang Nan's beautiful face is mesmerizingly beautiful. Even men are infatuated. How can there be such a perfectly handsome person in this world, being stared at like that? Jiang Nan felt extremely uncomfortable. He threw a gaze cold his eyes towards Jiao Mao and threatened in a low voice. Watch those dog eyes of yours. However, in Jiao Mao's inner world right now, he thought it was a compliment. He held his face in delusion. Your dog eyes? Is he praising my big round eyes as puppy eyes? Seeing his strange attitude, Jiang Nan couldn't help but turn and whisper to Jiang Bai. Why is this Jiao Mao acting so weird? Looking at his infatuated gaze for Jiang Nan, he thought fearfully. Could it be that he craves Big Brother? Ho Feng, sitting above, sensed the slightly strange atmosphere and thought, Oh my, why is the atmosphere here a bit subtle? No, this king must resolve this situation. So he spoke up and called, Someone, hurry and set the banquet. But then, Jiao Mao spoke up, interrupting him. Wait. Then he walked towards Jiang Nan and said, May I ask what young sect master Zhang's name is? I wonder if this prince has the honor of, with you? Not letting him finish, he swung his sword at him and scolded angrily. Woo your head. Then he looked at him with a gloomy, contemptuous face and said, My big brother is an upright man. Don't go spraying your piss everywhere like that. You little white face. You pretty boy. The system notified again. Successfully collected 268 anger points from Jiao Mao. Hit right in the sore spot, he turned anger into embarrassment, pointed at Ho Yanlan, and shouted loudly. Who are you calling a little white face? You. Aren't you also keeping a little white face? Checking me out. Then he stroked his hair and said narcissistically, Could it be that because I, Jiao Mao, am handsome and dashing, it makes you jealous? After stroking for a while, he realized a patch of hair on his head was missing, leaving only a shiny patch. His face turned black and he stammered. The hair on my head. System notification. Successfully collected 588 fury points from Jiao Mao. At this moment, Ho Yanlan took off the hairpin on her head and called, Jiao Mao, look clearly at who I am. He stared at her face, trying to remember. This face looks a bit familiar. Then he shifted his gaze down to Ho Yinlan's chest and evaluated. This chest isn't as high as mine. Thinking for a moment, he clapped his hands and exclaimed, I remember now. You are Yinlan's brother. Pervert Ho. Seeing him like this, Ho Feng couldn't help but facepalm and think helplessly. Truly, this Jiao Mao is indeed a talent. Jiang Bai and Jiang Nan, after hearing his answer, were also dumbfounded. Unexpectedly, there is such a stupid person in the world. Ho Yinlan on this side couldn't take it anymore and hit him painfully, scolding. Godi, truly someone with eyes but blind, with ears but deaf. Ho Feng now asked, Yinlan, you've returned? She respectfully replied, Father. Daughter returned this time to cancel the engagement with Jiao Mao. Hearing this, he was startled and raised his voice. What? Marriage is not child's play. Do not speak nonsense. She spoke with a very serious demeanor. Daughter is not speaking nonsense. These are the people I've come to know during this time. Only then did I realize that destiny must be held in one's own hands. Hearing this, he realized, could it be that I couldn't find Yinlan anywhere because the Wuji sect was protecting her from behind? Thinking this, he pointed at her and scolded angrily. Yinlan, how could you have such thoughts? You must have been led astray by Jiang Bai. He immediately stepped forward to block Ho Yinlan and spoke sarcastically. No wonder the princess didn't want to return to the manor. Turns out it's because of a shameless father like this. Daughter returns, and you don't even ask a single caring question. Instead, you scold her. Being spoken to like that, he was fuming with anger but could only swallow it and say patiently, I didn't. I just... And the result of provoking him was the system notification. Successfully collected 118 anger points from Ho Feng. He continued to act playfully. Spreading his hands towards him, he said, Just what? Just thinking of her as a tool for marriage alliance? Ho Feng couldn't hold it in anymore and immediately cursed. You bastard. If it weren't for you. The system sound continued to ring. Successfully collected 298 anger points from Ho Feng. He took the opportunity to constantly provoke. Me what? You should thank me for protecting Miss Yinlan. Truly shameful. Truly mischievous. Martial King, you are truly a thick-skinned, shameless thing. This time successfully collected 368 anger points from Ho Feng. Then he arrogantly put his foot on the table in front of him and continued. Miss Yinlan has stayed at my house for a while. If you want to reward me, just say it. Regarding the relationship between the two of us, I only want a number of this size. As he spoke, he held up 5 fingers in front of Ho Feng. He gritted his teeth and said, 500 taels? He shook his head and replied, No, no. Successfully collected 108 anger points from Ho Feng. He asked again, 5,000 taels? He continued to shake his head. Successfully collected 118 anger points from Ho Feng. He was shocked and asked, Is it 50,000 taels? He smiled and shook his head. Successfully collected 228 anger points from Ho Feng. He had now lost patience, his face black, and gave the final price. Could it be 50 million taels? He shook his head again. Successfully collected 388 anger points from Ho Feng. After every shake of his head came the sound of the system constantly adding points. He couldn't take it anymore, turned his head away, and said, Truly a madman talking in his sleep. You what? Not letting him finish. He gave him a thunderous slap. Slapping his face askew, he then leaned back and laughed. This. Besides, I'll give you another slap as a bonus. This time, the system successfully collected 888 anger points from Ho Feng. He angrily held one side of his face, which had been slapped red and swollen, and shouted orders. Someone, drag these two out. Jiao Mao, who had been sitting on the ground all this time, also chimed in. Right. Capture this Jiang Nan alive for me. As for Jiang Bai, kill him. He is truly a despicable person. If he can't eat it, he ruins it for everyone. Wu Langmi walked in with an annoyed look and replied. As you command. Jiang Nan held his weapon, stepped forward, and said, Brother, take the young miss and leave here first. I'll help you cover the rear. He listened and quickly pulled Yinlan away, running while thinking to himself. Big brother is right. Yinlan's martial arts are not good. Bringing along another person will make it even more difficult. As soon as he got to the carriage, he hurriedly shouted. Pang Hu. Pang Hu heard him shout loudly and asked in surprise. Young master, what happened? He hurriedly pushed Yinlan towards him and said a few sentences breathlessly. You take Yinlan back to the Wuji sect and find someone to help. Pang Hu asked with a confused face. What about you, young master? He left a sentence. I'm going to save my big brother. Then he quickly flew away. The group of people chasing Jiang Nan behind constantly cursed. Stinkin' brat. Don't run if you have the guts. Suddenly, Jiang Nan stopped. In front of him now was a deep abyss. Seeing this, Wu Langmi's group said smugly, Heaven never cuts off anyone's path, but it cuts off your path to life. Saying that, he channeled his aura to create a sphere with strange faces. Strange and gloomy, looked at Jiang Nan and said, Looks like heaven doesn't want to help you either. Then accept death. Void Ball. Finished speaking. He threw the power sphere in his hand towards him. Just then, he rushed over, used a sword to cut the sphere in half, and said, Don't you dare hurt my big brother. Seeing him present at this place, Jiang Nan asked with both surprise and worry, Didn't I tell you to run ahead? He smiled and replied, How could I leave you? We still have to go back together. Seeing this, that guy snorted coldly and said disdainfully, An ant climbing a tree branch. Overestimating your own strength. None of you will escape today. Just as he finished speaking, he shouted, Reviving hell. First form, tongue-pulling hell. A stream of red-hot aura escaped. Next, it created a formation trapping Jiang Nan inside. Seeing this, he asked worriedly, Brother, he said to reassure him, Are you okay? I'm Yufine. But in his heart, he thought, It's just that the odds are against me. At this moment, inside the formation appeared two demons holding weapons, looking at him with greedy faces. Jiang Nan immediately threw the two umbrellas in his hands towards them. However, they showed no fear and even laughed smugly. A three-eyed demon quietly approached from behind him. He seemed to realize something and looked back in horror. Outside, Wu Langmi constantly pointed and ordered, Brothers, attack together. In his heart at this moment, he couldn't help but think smugly. If using strategy to catch Jiang Nan is very difficult, then let's just deal with this Jiang Bai first. He fought the people outside, while looking at the situation inside the formation and couldn't help but curse. Bastards! This isn't good. Suddenly, Jiang Nan's umbrella fell, making a loud noise. He looked over in horror and called, Brother. Jiang Nan was now bleeding all over from injuries, trying to support himself squatting in the formation. Seeing his big brother injured like that, he left them and rushed towards the formation. Rushing over, he shouted loudly, Big brother, hang in there. I'm coming to save you right now. But because he wasn't paying attention, he was ambushed from behind by a guy, leaving him unable to react in time. He tried to brace himself sitting on the ground and called, Brother. Seeing that the situation seemed wrong, a guy spoke up to remind, Leader, didn't Prince Diao Mao say to keep Jiang Nan alive? Like this is very possible. Hearing these words, Wu Langmi recalled that before leaving, Diao Mao kept repeating, Jiang Nan must be captured alive. This guy gritted his teeth and thought, Why did Prince Wen raise such a useless glutton? Then he said, You're right. Still need to repay Prince Diao Mao. Jiang Nan, I'll let him go. But Jiang Bai musti. Saying that, he clasped his hands to retract the formation. The formation gradually dissipated. He called out worriedly, Big brother. Jiang Nan had almost no strength left and collapsed directly. He quickly supported him and called loudly, Big brother. A moment later, he placed Jiang Nan on the ground and cursed with a dark face. You damn bastards. You're pushing people